है ना? Hello and welcome back everyone. Abhijit, Joydeep, Rima, Devashish.
Thank you.
देख रही
Thank
हूँ
you.
किसके चेहरे पे स्माइल है, इतनी बड़ी स्माइल. क्या लग रहा है आज के गेम के बारे में अभिजीत? जॉस बटलर तो अनस्टॉपेबल,
Just,
अनबीटेबल.
just, just before we start, the men in pink were supporting the pink. The men not in pink were supporting the pink.
That is right. That is
I
right.
think Butler is in his form of his life. What an inning! I mean, 3 centuries in IPL.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, he's the heartbeat of Rajasthan Royals, I would say, right now. उसी की वजह से इतना सब is there in such terrific form.
और हर
जैसे कि
सीजन में हमको ऐसा प्लेयर देखने को मिलता है ना जो बस बस मारते जाता है गोज ऑन टू बिकम दैट ऑरेंज कैप होल्डर एंड एक मतलब टीम को के लिए तो ऑफ कोर्स अच्छा करते ही हैं जैसे उन्होंने अभी तक कंसिस्टेंटली करते आ रहे हैं, राइट जोयदा?
Yeah, I mean, see, it goes without saying that Josh Butler is in the form of his life, but people around him also did well today. Particle did well, Sanju Samson did well, and
Yes.
that's the key. That's the hallmark of a good team. That's what we were talking about pre-show में कि बाकी भी अगर पार्टी ज्वाइन कर ले तो आगे
हाँ.
जब जॉश बटलर आउट हो जाएगा ये भी सोचेंगे ये हमारा भी 50 है लास्ट मैच में, हमारा भी 40 है
Exactly.
28 बॉल में लास्ट मैच में. And also, I think Delhi could have, this was a wicket. Delhi was in the game. उनका चला नहीं. ये डेविड वार्नर एक 100 कर देता ऊपर में ऋषभ पंत 100 कर देता
तो
मैच
हो
जीत जाते.
जाता.
So when you have to beat a special innings, it needs another special innings, and it didn't
Absolutely.
happen. It didn't happen. इनमें से अगर कर देता, these matches are not over. I
Yeah.
mean, ठीक है, 16 run is a lot, but Rishabh Pant comes and gets a 80 over here. Shikhar Dhawan comes in and gets an 60. Akshar Patel gets a 40 of 18 balls. Stranger things.
Exactly. And that's what they were in the chase. They got to a score of 207. It's not like they could not have won this game. Debashish, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say Rajasthan Royals batted Delhi Capitals out. The moment you score 222 runs, invariably you will end up in winning 9 out of 10 times.
Exactly.
That is what happened because you are always have to score at 10 and over, which is as Joyda rightly mentioned that you need someone. You need a considerable contribution from your top order, like what was the case with Butler and Particle and Samson. Butler, especially with Butler, he did 116 runs made a difference, and I would just like to add Butler. Last season during this time, he has hardly scored any T20 hundreds, and and since then he has scored 5 T20 hundreds in 24 innings, and that too in IPL he has scored 400s in 8 matches. He broke the record of Virat Kohli because Virat scored those 400s in 9 matches in 2016 IPL. So that proves the form he is going through. He is going through a purple patch. So I think he batted the Delhi Capitals out.
Yeah, absolutely. रीमा जी, दिल्ली हार गई लेकिन स्माइल तो ले आई अपनी फेस पे. गेम अच्छा देखते
देखिए मैच मैच
देखने को
अच्छा
मिला.
हुआ. मैच अच्छा हुआ और जो क्वेश्चन आपने प्री शो में मेरे से पूछा था ना कि भाई दोनों तरफ स्पिनर्स हैं क्या होने वाला है, तो अगर आप पूरा स्कोर कार्ड देखेंगे ना तो स्पिनर्स का ही डिफरेंस है. वहाँ चहल और अश्विन के नाम विकेट्स हैं, कम रन दिए हैं. वहाँ पे
Yes.
अक्षर और कुलदीप आज पिटे हैं, विकेट्स का कॉलम खाली है. सो 400 से ऊपर रन इस मैच में बने हैं. अच्छा बैटिंग ट्रैक है, दोनों की बैटिंग अच्छी थी. अच्छा बैटिंग देखने को मिला, जैसे कि जॉयदीप ने कहा कि एक बड़ा स्कोर की कमी नजर आई. लास्ट में ऐसा लग रहा था कि मैच दिल्ली कैपिटल्स के पास आ जाएगा, लेकिन जब भी ऐसे बड़ा स्कोर होता है ना, एनीथिंग अबव 215 220 ना, वो थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होता है. आपको लगता है आप गेम में हैं, बट एंड ऑफ द ओवर्स आप कहीं ना कहीं शॉर्ट रह जाते हैं. और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि बॉलिंग दोनों की ही एक जैसी हुई है. सिर्फ स्पिनर्स जो थे वो मेन डिफरेंस बने और वही डिफरेंस बना जीत और हार के बीच में. बट
और
एक चीज बहुत अच्छी थी आज, संजू सैमसन की जो बैटिंग थी ना, वाओ. आई मीन क्लास दिखा. चाहे वो 40 रन थे या कुछ भी, उसमें प्योर क्लास था. इतने ब्यूटीफुल उन्होंने शॉट्स खेले ना, पता नहीं ऐसा टैलेंट क्यों फील होता है, मुझे समझ नहीं आता।
एग्री करते हैं आप अभिजीत? संजू सैमसन की बैटिंग आज अच्छी देखने को मिली।
Sanju Samson played well in the first match as well against Sunrisers Hyderabad.
यस
I don't remember whether I think he played some 50. I think वो मैच में भी स्टेडियम पे जो बड़े बड़े छक्के देखने को मिलते हैं ना, आउटस्टैंडिंग. एंड आई थिंक संजू सैमसन हैज प्रूव्ड ओवर द इयर्स, जैसा रीमा जी ने बताया कि व्हेन ही इज इनटू द इन द ब्लू जर्सी, जब इंडिया के लिए खेलते हैं तो पता नहीं क्या हो जाता है. But everyone is expecting he's a wonderful talent, wonderful to watch. And yeah, today was another wonderful innings from him.
उसके साथ साथ देवदत्त पडिक्कल भी कभी कभी वो मतलब कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं आती है, लेकिन आज अच्छा खेल गए। जोयदा?
Yeah, see, Devdutt Padikkal is a new baby. So Sanju Samson has been around for a while. Devdutt Padikkal has a couple of seasons, one full season, and is still finding his feet in the Indian Premier League. With Sanju Samson, it's a little different. He will play a few innings in between where everybody will say, why doesn't he play for India? And like Abhijit rightly said, when he plays for India, he doesn't know how many games he has. When he plays for Rajasthan Royals, he knows he has 14 games. That makes a lot of difference. When you know you have 14 games, and you're the captain of the team, you're the chosen one, you are the boss. So that makes a lot of difference. I think if India really wanted the best out of him, they would want to give him 8-10 games and say, okay, we're going to give you a proper run. Because his game is chancy. He will not perform every time because that's the way he plays. But when he plays, he will not need much help from the others. That's the game-changing player. So we do that with Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant is not very consistent. If you see, even in the Indian Premier League or for India in the T20 version, he's not. He sometimes flatters to deceive, but when he plays, nobody can play like him. So there are two types of players. There are the David Warners and the Dhawans who will keep churning up runs every year, and there are some in between who will come and play on their day and blow you away. So Sanju Samson, it belongs to that club.
राइट। और जैसा रीमा आप ही कह रहे थे ना कि बॉलिंग वही डिफरेंस था दोनों के में, दिल्ली एंडेड अप कंसीडिंग अ लॉट ऑफ रन्स टुडे। और दूसरी तरफ राजस्थान में ऑफ कोर्स चहल तो है ही, अश्विन है और ट्रेंट बोल्ट है, और उनके साथ प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा आज 3 विकेट्स भी लिए उन्होंने, सिर्फ 22 रन दिए 4 ओवर में। देवाशीष,
Yeah, I would say that made the difference in the end. क्योंकि प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा का जो 19th over था, that was a superb over.
Amazing.
Superb over. And खास करके David Warner, when he was going all guns blazing at the start, he followed David Warner because he backed out to hit inside out over the covers, but he backed out and followed him, and that was a crucial breakthrough. And I think the way he is developing his skills as a death bowler, I think it augurs well for India in the long run. If we can groom, if the Indian team management can groom him into a good death bowler, then it would be handy for India, because you know that Bhuvneshwar Kumar is not in the best of form. You never know whether T. Natarajan will make it to the T20 World Cup squad or not. So you have someone like a Prasidh Krishna who has done well in the last 3 seasons for KKR. Also, he has done well. So maybe it is just the time to rope in the Indian team, and it did show that he has the temperament and the skill set to do well in the dead overs as well, which actually eventually proved crucial for Rajasthan Royals winning the match.
Right. Do you agree, Rima? Because I think Prasidh Krishna is only adding to the strength of the bowling attack of Rajasthan.
बिल्कुल, और मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है कि अगर प्रसिद्ध कितना 10-15 रन एक्स्ट्रा खा लेते ना, तो शायद ये जो मैच था वो डीसी की तरफ जाता। तो उनका जो बॉलिंग था बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था। स्पिनर्स ने अपना पार्ट प्ले किया था, थोड़ा बाकी पेसर्स थोड़े रन्स के लिए आज उन्होंने लीक किए, लेकिन प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा के पास एक आर्ट है, ना केवल वो इकोनॉमिकल गेंदबाजी भी करते हैं, बट बीच-बीच में विकेट्स लेते हैं। जो इन्होंने आज गेंदबाजी की थी ललित यादव को, आई मीन एक प्लान के साथ उतर रहे थे, चाहे कोई लेफ्ट हैंडर बॉलिंग डाल रहा था, चाहे वो प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा थे, आउटसाइड ऑफ स्टंप बॉल डाल रहे थे, काफ़ी मैच्योरिटी से नज़र आ रहे हैं। और बटलर ने पहले भी इनके बारे में कहा था कि ये तीनों फॉर्मेट में बहुत जल्दी इंडिया के लिए नज़र आएँगे, मुझे लगता है वही होने वाला है।
That was a maiden over. That was a maiden over.
विकेट मेडन।
Yeah.
In T20, I think amazing to have a maiden over.
और स्पेशली
Very
बाकी
rare
जब
to
इतने
see.
रन्स लीक कर रहे हैं।
True.
जोयदा, मुझे बताइए फिर दिल्ली को क्या करना चाहिए अपनी बॉलिंग के साथ आगे चलते टूर्नामेंट में?
Oh, see, they're not a team which is a fully. They haven't covered all their bases. अभी जो है उसको लेके चलना पड़ेगा. So when this sort of a situation happens, some of the big players, the star players, they take responsibility, and that's not happening for. I think it's a huge mistake to let Shikhar Dhawan go. Huge mistake, because he's a guy who you can depend on. Prithvi will come and play, but his game will always be chancy. He also belongs to the club that I was talking about earlier when I was talking, where he'll blow you away. But you if you want those 500, 600 run guys, he's not there yet. So on games like this, you need some guy to keep going. Some guy. There's a lot of choosing that's involved. As Rimaji will agree with me on this, that when you get a 80 or 42 balls, it's not about hitting every ball. उसमें भी चूजिंग है, उसमें भी स्ट्रॉन्ग जोन्स है, उसमें भी बॉलर को चुनना है, किसको खेलूं कैसा. There's a strategy to it. And where you're immensely talented, like the Rishabh Pants and the Sanju Samsons and the Prithvi Shaws, then you feel that that is not there. I can hit every ball for 4 or 6. But when you see a Shikhar Dhawan bat, a David Warner bat, you can see some planning there. You can see even Josh Butler, as good as he is, there is a planning in place. He knows what shot to play to who. He will lap it to bowlers who bowl a little fuller in length. There are some bowlers who dig. He doesn't lap them. So there is a brain that's working behind all that natural and awesome talent that he has. So it's just not about hitting, but it's just about, availing the situation. Delhi has a few problems because some of the big players are not in form, number one. Number two is that their bases are all not covered. So they'll have to really play out of their skin.
The good thing is that despite being affected by COVID, their spirits are not low. They're not giving up the fight. There should just be a plan, a strategy on moving ahead in the tournament, depending on their standing in the table. Devashish, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would just like to. I have a different thought. I would just like to ask Joyda and Rimadi, because both having played the games with distinction. Is it not a one-dimensional attack? Means too many left-handers in that bowling attack. Khalil, Mustafizur. Perhaps is it not high time to try someone like, obviously Nokia is not in the form that we know in past season, but then is it not right to add someone like Ngidi perhaps in that attack to somewhat say because Khalil and Mustafizur bowl are left armers, and then you need obviously Shardul is there, so maybe I don't know because you cannot drop a Ashwin and Kuldeep from that attack. And Kuldeep, we know that he has been a revelation so far in this IPL. He was not been getting the chances past 2 seasons when he was in KKR. So, if, any thoughts, Joydeep Da, Rimadi? I just like to ask you both whether it's a Delhi should do well to get perhaps add a Ngidi or a Nokia in the attack for the next match.
Nimaji, after you.
Okay.
हाँ सी नोकिया तो मेरे ख्याल से इंजर्ड है. जब तक वो फुली फिट नहीं होते मुझे लगता नहीं उनको लाना चाहिए, क्योंकि बिल्कुल क्लूलेस दिखे थे जब पहले मैच में आए थे. अनटिल अनलेस वो पूरे मैच फिट हो और थोड़े अच्छे नेट सेशन करके आए हो, क्योंकि शॉर्ट ऑफ मैच प्रैक्टिस तो डेफिनेटली वो होंगे. बट अगर कुछ उनको मैच सिमुलेशन या नेट प्रैक्टिस मिल जाती है देन हम उनको काउंट कर सकते हैं. और एनगीडी का जो परफॉर्मेंस रहा है ना 2-3 सालों से, इतना वो आईपीएल में आते थे, सीएसके में थे, इतना खेले भी नहीं थे, और कहीं ना कहीं हम वो फॉर्म देख नहीं पाते. जैसे जयदीप ने पिछले प्री शो में कहा था कि नेट पे आप कैसे बॉल डाल रहे हैं, वहाँ पे बेटर जज करने के लिए कोचेज हैं, कैप्टन है. ज़रूर कहीं न कहीं कुछ कमी रह रही होगी, इसलिए उनको लाया नहीं जा रहा. लेकिन मैं इसको वन डायमेंशनल अटैक बिल्कुल नहीं कहूँगी. खलील लेफ्ट आर्मर है, लेकिन उनका बॉल डालने का जो तरीका है, जो उनका जो वेरिएशन है उनके पास, वो डिफरेंट है. मुस्तफिर का जो आर्म रोटेशन है वो काफ़ी क्विक है अगर हम खलील से मैच कर रहे हो. तीसरा स्पिनर है. सो अगर आपके पास ऑप्शन नहीं है तो वो फोर्स्ड चेंज नहीं होना चाहिए. येस, अगर आपके पास ऑप्शन है, इफ नोकिया गेट्स फिट देन स्ट्रेट अवे उनका बनता है, और अगर वो अच्छा नेट प्रैक्टिस करके आते हैं स्ट्रेट अवे वो इन है. लेकिन अगर नहीं है तो फोर्सफुल चेंज नहीं होना चाहिए.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rima. She's taking the words out of my mouth. In the pre-show, we were saying Delhi's bowling was good against Punjab. And they've got a mauling against a very, very good batting, 3 people who batted together. So Khalil is at a good tournament. Shardul Thakur is Lord Shardul and whatever. So he's Indian team player. So he makes his place. Lalit Yadav plays because he can tonk the ball, as we can see. And he's gone for 10 runs and over, which under the circumstances is not any worse than anybody else has done. So he's not been taken apart. and he's bowled his 441. There are some others. I mean, Shardul hasn't even finished his 4 over quota, and he's given 29 in 3 overs with a maiden. So he has got caught in. So you have a domestic bowler who's finished 4 overs 41, and he can bat, as we saw today. Okay, Mustafizur is 443. He's had a bad day. Kuldeep had a mauling. But when you come against an innings like this, or 3 innings like this, then the bowling figures will not look pretty. But you always judge a bowling attack on a good day, not on their bad day. Because on a bad day, everybody, you've got a mauling. When Brazil lose 5-0, you don't talk about Brazil. You see when Brazil wins 3-0, a bad day is a bad day. They had a bad day, special innings. But when I make an assessment of Delhi, it's more in general. It's not about what they did against Punjab or what they did today. In general, when I look at the Delhi team, I feel some of the bases are not covered. Some of the major players are not in form. And that is a cause of worry. I'm not really worried about this loss or the last match, the huge win against Punjab. Those 2 days will not make this tournament, but the loopholes are pretty evident.
मैं इसमें एक बात और ऐड करना चाहूंगी जयदीप। अगर डीसी का जर्नी देखें अभी तक के जितने मैचेस हुए हैं, पहले प्लेयर्स लेट आए, देन कोविड का इशू हुआ, इंजरी का इशू हुआ, सो कहीं ना कहीं वो एक यूनिट बन नहीं पा रहे हैं। कभी कोई लेट आ रहा है, जैसे डेविड वार्नर लेट आए, फिर वो आइसोलेट हुए, उसके बाद कोविड आया, फिर इंजरी हुई नोकिया को। सो कहीं ना कहीं एज अ यूनिट मुझे लग रहा है कि वो क्लिक हो रहे हैं एट टाइम्स। यस, अच्छा क्रिकेट भी खेल रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि थोड़े हेड स्ट्रॉन्ग प्लेयर हैं यहाँ पे। डेविड वार्नर है, ऋषभ पंत है, जो काफी उनका माइंडसेट काफी पॉजिटिव है, और फाइटर वाली उनकी अप्रोच है। लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है जब जैसे मिचेल मार्श भी आ जाएंगे तो एक अच्छा यूनिट नजर आएगा, सबका रोल क्लियर होगा। यहाँ पे अगर टॉप ऑर्डर फेल होता है तो सारा बर्डन आ जाता है ऋषभ पंत पे। आज भी अगर आप देखेंगे मैच क्लोज लेके गए हैं, 200 का आंकड़ा उन्होंने पार किया टी20 में, यानी आप अच्छा खेल रहे हो। सिर्फ वो जो रन थोड़े से लीक हो रहे हैं, शायद वो नोकिया मिचेल मार्श के आंसर शायद वो रिस्ट्रिक्ट हो जाएंगे और थोड़ा बेटर परफॉर्मेंस देखने को मिलेगा।
Rivaji, that's a great point, because can you imagine? So in this team, Mitchell Marsh and Nokia are what Josh Butler is to Rajasthan. So can you imagine
True.
Rajasthan not playing without
Absolutely.
Josh Butler?
Yeah.
So not playing with your 2 top foreigners is not easy for any team. We suffered
Absolutely.
back in 2008, the first IPL. KKR suffered. Devashish knows. We picked Chris Gayle. He got injured playing for West Indies. We picked Ponte. He went to West Indies. Then we picked Shoaib Akhtar. He got banned. So 3 of your top picks did not show up, and we didn't have a great tournament. Well, the others, all their top picks were there. It's a matter. There's a lot of luck involved here. So if Nokia and Mitchell Marsh are fit, you never know what happens to this team.
True.
Okay.
Abhijit, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I still believe DC is a very very good team. They can still make it to the playoffs because see, apart from the team, they have characters which really required you to win the matches, and as we know, like David Warner, Rishabh Pant, and everything there. I think one still move what I would like to see is bringing in Yash Dhul instead of Sarfaraz Khan. I think in the pre-match also we spoke about Sarfaraz Khan. I think Yash Dhul is there who has done well for the India under 19, and I think it's time now like to give him an opportunity because Sarfaraz hasn't done that well. And I really feel from the starting, I felt like Delhi and Rajasthan are a very very strong team on the paper, and they have the capability to make at least till the playoff. Rajasthan has done that, and I think DC, have a wonderful support staff as well with Ponting, and everyone is there. Even Ajit Agarkar is as a bowling coach has been handy. So I think if DC के अगर सब कुछ एक बार साथ में आ गया, so I think they can easily make it to the playoffs. They still have a lot of time to go.
Right. Let's see what changes they make going ahead, and let's hope the COVID scare leaves their camp very soon. On the other hand, Rajasthan looking very good, very strong. In fact, probably one of the top contenders for the cup. Now, they have been going consistent, performing so well. They are proving to be a threat to not just Delhi, maybe any other team that plays against them. So, what is it that any other team should do to be able to beat Rajasthan Royals? Let's start with you, Devashish.
See the back of Josh Butler very quickly. That's the easiest solution.
That's a good start.
See the back of Josh Butler because he has been the difference. 300s, he's been in impeccable form. You just want to see the back. Means I would say that's the easiest payout.
Going after every bowler, not stopping.
Yeah, And the best part was the way he placed his innings. 14 runs of 11 balls. Then suddenly he went fifth gear. No second, third, fourth. He went straight away to fifth gear and he was tonking the balls like anything. And those were all big hits.
But Debashish, that's what I was talking about. There is some planning there. It's just not happened. It's not happened in the 11th ball or the 14th ball because he was waiting for some balls to be in his zone, to be where he wants it to be. Apna thela bolte hain na, thela pe he was waiting for it. So it's just not happened. It's not a switch. There is a planning that's going on. There's an amount of maturity that's going on. Why is Josh Butler as good now? Why wasn't he as good 3 years back? He could still play the same shots. It's just the maturity level.
Right. And what else does one need to beat them, Joyda?
Yeah, I think seeing the back of Butler is a really good start, as Debashi said. But that's something is not in your hands. I think what you really need to do is get more discipline with your bowling. And I thought because Josh Butler plays very unorthodox, it's not easy to bowl to him. You don't know what shot is coming up. And his range is a place. If somebody has a day like he had today, you just doff your cap to him and say, well done, it was your day. And if he goes and gets 600 or 700, they're going to lift the trophy. That goes without saying. That's the sort of form he's in. And if they do play like this, then they deserve to win, because for once, as I said in the pre-show, they have the bowling to back it up. How good was Chahal to Akshar Patel? Tossed it up. I was thinking of Rimaji. She would have loved that one. Left-hander, and everybody says leg spinner you can't bowl leg spin to the left-hander. He bowled leg spin to the left-hander and got him bowled. And Akshar Patel is no mug with the bat. But still, there was a bit of drift in the air. Dhima dala, ball gira, spin kiya. That is artistry, man. That was so good to watch, because you need some guts to be able to bowl that ball. He bowled the googly. He got him with the leg spin. Generally, left-hander aati sab googly shuru kar dete. Wo leg spin they get out kiya. That's the class of Chahal. And I really feel that if Rajasthan is the team to beat, one of the teams to beat, because they're a fully rounded. Yes, his form is helping, but Butler's. But if 5 of them bat what Butler did, they'll still do the job. For once, they have the bowling. So it's a rounded team.
True.
180 भी करते आज तो difficult होता Delhi के लिए. अभी because they went hammer and tongs हो गया 200 हो गया. But 80 होता once you score 220 you attack differently. Once you're defending 180 you defend that differently.
Yes.
Okay.
True. And 220 का स्कोर मार के आप वैसे भी सामने वाली टीम को प्रेशर में डाल देते हो. Yes, Abhijit.
जी.
Yeah, I think one of the strategies should be to win the toss against Rajasthan Royals and bat first. All the matches they have won is by batting first. So probably the team next playing against Rajasthan, I think RCB hai. So they should try and bat first and see how. I think the weakness समझ में आएगा Rajasthan Royals का, how they play under the pressure and all those things. And I think बस Butler का wicket ले लो, बाकी तो मतलब you still have a good chance.
So far they have been the ones creating that pressure. We have to see अगर वो इस pressure में आते हैं कि नहीं.
But I think Rajasthan Royals का I would say a team is very good. It reminds me of like the team which was Australia team in 99 से लेके 2007 तक. They had all superstars in there. Everyone was performing well, and तब ऐसा बोलते थे कि अगर कैप्टन कोई भी रहता था उस टीम का तो Australia still would have won that. Every match they have played. So I think that's what I see the similarity between that and now the Rajasthan Royals team, because everyone is playing so well.
Right.
Just one point I'll make. Josh Butler's interview is going on. He played 65 balls. He played 24 dot balls and he had 21 run balls. That's 44 balls. That's planning.
Yeah.
So in 65 balls, he got 116, 20 zeros and 20 ones. So in 44 balls, he got 20 runs. But he made up. This is planning. This is what I was trying to say.
Right. Rima ji, any final thoughts on Rajasthan को beat करने के लिए सिर्फ जॉस बटलर और उनकी bowling को तोड़ना?
देखिए, अगर आप राजस्थान के कैप्टन होना तो आपको क्या चाहिए? जॉस बटलर वहाँ पे 100 पे 100 बना रहे हैं, तीसरा उनका 100 है, वहाँ पे चहल और अश्विन अपना काम कर रहे हैं, बीच में प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा आते हैं, कभी ट्रेंट बोल्ट आ जाते हैं. सो वहाँ पे काफी सारे मैच विनर्स हैं. अगर इनको बीट करना है ना, प्लानिंग चाहिए होगा. जैसे कि अभी जयदीप ने कहा कि जो बटलर खेल रहे हैं मैच्योर इनिंग खेल रहे हैं, शॉट सिलेक्शन पे ध्यान दे रहे हैं और वो बहुत अच्छे से जानते हैं कि वो फॉर्म में है, क्योंकि एक टाइम ऐसा भी था कि वो अच्छे निक में थे लेकिन कभी 10 पे आउट होते, कभी 15 पे आउट, उनको समझ नहीं आ रहा था। सो बीच में फिनिशर बनने की कोशिश की, फिर वापस ओपनिंग में आए, लेकिन अभी ओपनिंग में भी आए, फॉर्म में भी आए और फॉर्म का यूज भी कर रहे हैं। तो जब आप पर्पल पैच में होते हैं ना, तो आपका लक भी आपके साथ देता है, तो कुछ एक्स्ट्रा करने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर मुझे लगता है जिस तरह से राजस्थान के बॉलर्स ने बॉलिंग की आज डीसी को आउटसाइड ऑफ स्टंप, उसमें वाइड भी गई बाहर, लेकिन वो प्लानिंग थी कि अगर आपको मारना है तो आप और शफल हो जाइए, नहीं तो फिर आप वहीं से स्लैश कीजिए। सो कहीं ना कहीं माइंड गेम्स खेलनी होगी। देखिए इसमें स्किल्स में सिर्फ 19-20 का फर्क होता है इस लेवल पे। इट्स ऑल अबाउट माइंड, और वो माइंड गेम से आपको उनका हराना पड़ा। ऐसा नहीं, अनबीटेबल साइड नहीं है, बीटेबल साइड है, क्योंकि अगर जिस दिन बटलर आउट हो जाएंगे, सो क्या ये टीम 222 बनाएगी? बना
Yeah.
सकती है, क्योंकि इनका संजू
Exactly.
सैमसन है, पडिक्कल है इनके पास, हेटमायर है
हेटमेयर ने
इनके
तो आज
पास,
किया
कॉर्नर है।
नहीं है।
आज किया नहीं है। रैन रैन पराग का हमने सुना है कि प्रैक्टिस गेम से फॉर्म अच्छा था तो उनको मौका नहीं मिला। टीम अच्छी है लेकिन डेफिनेटली बीटेबल है।
I agree.
राइट।
I also agree.
ऑलराइट, सो इस पे डिस्कशन खत्म करते हैं आज की मैच का। कल एक डबल हेडर है और
एक चीज हम लोग
हाँ
को
जी,
डिस्कस करना है, वो नो बॉल को लेके। वो
यस।
जो वेस्ट हाइट का जो नो बॉल था, वो was it fair for Rishabh Pant to call his teammates? It was
Yep.
not done in international
अभिजीत,
No, I
South Indian
completely
board.
agree. I mean, that is not the way you should be there. Umpires are there; they should have the jobs. I mean, you on the field when the decision is been given, umpires are there. They know what rules need to be followed. I think you're just asking your players to come back. I think that's not the way the sport should be played. I think, and even they sent in Praveen Amre, the assistant coach. I think that's not the I would say a fair play to do.
do you think so too, Joyda? Was it unfair?
Absolutely. Shane Watson didn't move. James Hopes didn't move. Ajit
Yeah.
Agarkar didn't move. Okay, they've played a bit of cricket. Shane Watson has played a bit of cricket in the IPL. They know what the rules are. And in the heat of the moment, things can happen. Somebody in that team, I think if Ponting was in the dugout, nobody would have gone because better sense would have prevailed. You know, lot of rubbish happens, lot of shit happens, for lack of a better word. But you got to deal with it. And that was a borderline one. That's not a completely missed one. That's a borderline one.
Absolutely.
Out of 10 times, 5 times umpire will give it, sometimes umpire won't. Because he was not straight up, he was slightly bent, his legs were apart. So there are a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration, and only geometry could have figured out whether it's a no ball or not. You go with whatever the umpire says. Sometimes the cookie crumbles, sometimes it doesn't. But sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. But you cannot do that on a cricket field. I feel he'll be spending some time with the match referee. Cup of tea won't help. I think it'll be dinner.
लेकिन एक बात और थी ना जयदीप, उनमें अगर आपको बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट देना था तो आप थर्ड एम्पायर की तरफ जा सकते थे। आपके पास एक फैसिलिटी थी, वहां पे आप ले सकते थे, सो दैट क्लैरिटी हो जाती कि वो पूरी तरह से जज करते हैं कितना लेग्स अपार्ट है उनका, कितना बेंड है, कितना उनका ट्राउजर ऊपर है। कई बार आप जब थाई गार्ड पहनते हैं आप ट्राउजर भी ऊपर करते हैं, सो देयर लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स। बट एक चीज हेल्प कर गई वहां पे आरआर को, जब पाउल मारते ना बड़े फॉर्म में लग रहे थे, वो ब्रेक जो था ना वो अगेंस्ट गया डीसी के।
Yep.
True.
डेफिनेटली वो ऋषभ
Absolutely.
पंत
Imagine
ने जो
मुझे
किया,
Absolutely. Loss
Imagine
of momentum.
मुझे ये भी लगा, I could be completely wrong, but I'm thinking aloud. मुझे ये भी लगा कि थर्ड अंपायर ने उनका ईयरपीस में कुछ बोला अगर it's okay. Because sometimes there is a lot of communication that happens between the match referee, third umpire while the game is on. We know that in first class cricket and everything. So I have a feeling otherwise, if it was that evident, then match referee or a third umpire would have told him, refer it to us. We've often seen them. There is an earpiece in place all the time. There's always they can communicate with the people outside. And if it was that evident that it is, then they could have also asked, yeah, refer kar do, let us have another look. So it is possible, even they didn't feel it. Right or wrong, we'll know tomorrow when we see more about it and more data on it. But you got to go with the umpire. They are the bosses, man. They are the ones who control the game.
एब्सोल्युटली नो डाउट अबाउट इट, दे आर द बॉस।
And
No, but I think in future ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि like for the height no there will be technology might come up and a special dedicated जैसे अभी no ball के लिए होता
Possible.
है in
Possible.
they have to do it. I remember India versus Bangladesh 2015 World Cup, रोहित शर्मा ने एक शॉट मारा था, Bangladesh player also got angry, all those things, and this can happen in a critical match. So I think in future we might see this technology comes in where it can decide, like the LBW is there right now.
we might see the height of the batsman taken every
Yep.
time, and we'll have also a ball to the ground height. So if
Yep.
I'm 6 feet tall and if my waist is at, I don't know, 3 feet 8 inches, then anything above 3 feet 8 inches is a no ball. It could come to that.
Yep.
It's not too far away. It's not beyond us.
Right. So let's talk about tomorrow very quickly and let's call it a night. कल है मैच सबसे पहला KKR वर्सेस गुजरात टाइटंस. गुजरात टाइटंस बहुत खुश हैं जिस पोजीशन पे वो फिलहाल बैठे हैं. KKR नॉट वेरी हैप्पी. मे बी जॉयदा मैं आपके पास बाद में आती हूँ. पहले देवाशीष आप बताइए. What is your pick?
I would go with Gujarat Titans. KKR is not looking like the team. Due to some other reasons, I am from Calcutta, but I would definitely put my money on Gujarat Titans just purely for the brand of cricket they are playing.
Yes.
They have looked very potent.
They've looked very good and have one of the strongest bowling attacks in the tournament. Rima would agree.
Debashish invests his money very carefully. If he's putting his money,
Rima.
मुझे वेदा ने स्पेशली भेजा था और बोला था कि आज गुजरात टाइटंस के साथ जाना.
अच्छा, वरना तो आप नहीं जाती. वरना नहीं जाती. वेदा नहीं कहती.
नहीं वरना मैं थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट करती, लेकिन वेदा ने बोला कि जॉयदीप के सामने जाके बोलना कि गुजरात टाइटंस के साथ जाएंगे.
मैं अकेले होऊंगा केकेआर के साथ, कोई बात नहीं.
अभिजीत
नहीं
साथ दे दो उनका थोड़ा सा.
नहीं, डीवाई पटेल में हो रहा है मैच एंड डे गेम है, so you never know what can happen. I won't be surprised, KKR can also got that caliber to beat Titans tomorrow. But yeah, of course, on the paper, Titans favorite, but KKR got that caliber to beat them. But I'll go with KKR. I'll be with Joydeep.
आपको भी बताया ना गुजरात स्ट्रॉन्गर है.
Tomorrow the resurgence will start. When you want to make a statement, you beat the number 1 team. Now the number 2 team, Gujarat is Rajasthan is one now.
Yes.
Number 2 team. When you want to make a statement, you beat the number 2 team.
Yeah. And then the second match will be RCB versus Hyderabad. So RCB जो number 3 पे चल रही है.
Hyderabad.
एक्सपेक्टेड था. ये केकेआर और आरसीबी का मैच सेम डे होना ही नहीं चाहिए. ये कुंडली मैच निकलती. राहु केतु है.
देखो मैं तो ऑलरेडी ऑरेंज पहन रहा हूँ.
वो ऑलरेडी ऑरेंज पहन के हैं.
ये अभी जितने राइट हैंड बने हुए हैं उनके, ये जय वीरू बन गए हैं. ये
मैं वेदा वाला कार्य रीमा जी नहीं बोलते ना, मैं आरसीबी के साथ जाने वाला था. अभी तो कोई चांस ही नहीं है. खुद नहीं आई, भेज दी इनको.
मैच जिता के आई है लड़की. आज बिजी है, थकी हुई है, टायर्ड है वो.
अरे वो तो सुपर प्लेयर है, मैच जिताएगी, लेकिन उसके साथ नहीं दिया ना एक बार भी. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. सनराइजर्स ठोकेंगे कल आरसीबी को, देखना.
देवाशीष आप फैन की तरह नहीं, मुझे मतलब प्रॉपर लॉजिक के साथ बताइए. हैदराबाद या आरसीबी?
नहीं, सनराइजर्स हैज द मोमेंटम. 3 मैच जीत के आ रहे हैं, तो they didn't start the tournament well, but suddenly the momentum is with Sunrisers. But then RCB, that they have that, if the top player, the top batter starts clicking, I'm talking about a Virat Kohli.
Yes.
I don't know when he will start scoring runs, and it's better that Virat starts scoring runs. Then the entire RCB batting lineup they will feel a lot potent. I would say.
For sure.
Faf has been scoring runs. Dinesh Karthik has been finishing games, but still I would believe Virat is that glue. He needs to score runs, and he needs to. If he scores a 50-60 runs, suddenly you'll see it will be a completely transformed unit. But I would still say that toss will play a very important factor, but I would go with Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Right.
Can I give my logic? I think RCB is the better team. I think RCB is the better team on paper. They're the stronger team. Sunrisers Hyderabad are playing well. That's a different question. But if we put the two teams next to each other, RCB is ahead. RCB is favourite to win the game. That is the reason why I'm supporting Sunrisers.
And you really want to say exactly the same thing for Gujarat and KKR, है ना?
Exactly.
I think I like to add something. I was watching Sanjay Bagar's interaction day before yesterday. So same question was asked about the Virat Kohli's form. So I think he said, he has played extremely well across the years, and I think 6 to 7 matches he didn't perform well. So he takes it is like the big innings is just around the corner,
Of
and I
course.
think Sanjay Bangar and Virat has been close to each other. They have very
Of
good
course.
chemistry, even when he was at the as a batting coach. I personally know Sanjay Bangar very well. I think what he said it makes really sense. I think these are the big players, and everyone is aware, big knock is around the corner.
Yeah.
So definitely maybe tomorrow we can see that, because it's high time, and possibly tomorrow we can see Virat coming all guns firing.
And that is why you are supporting Hyderabad. क्योंकि orange तो पहन के आए.
Abhijit, don't
नहीं
change
नहीं
the
नहीं
t-shirt till tomorrow
You
night.
are
No, no, no,
supporting
I'm,
Joyda.
क्योंकि
no, 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 no.
जॉयदीप जो है ना
See,
वो
I,
जा रहा है सनराइजर्स के अगेंस्ट, तो फिर ये तो जाना ही थे इनके साथ. ये मुंबई जीते
हाँ,
नहीं,
वही ना.
मुंबई कुछ कर नहीं रहा,
हमें
no,
हमें
no,
इसलिए
no.
विराट की
जॉयदीप के
टीम
साथ.
देखनी है, लेकिन हम हैदराबाद के साथ हैं.
हाँ,
No, no,
ये अच्छा है.
जय
I
अजीम एक
support,
साथ.
I support,
उधर है गब्बर.
I support Hyderabad because of my good friend Rahul Tripathi is also playing there. So one of that's the reason I'm supporting. So, and I think I
And I'm
like
support
underdogs. To be honest, I like underdogs team that's doing well. So
and I'm supporting RCB because Sunrisers because I don't
आरसीबी
want
निकल
to
गया,
face
निकल गया,
them.
निकल गया.
से निकल
एक
गया.
बार जब मैंने बोल दिया, हम सलमान खान की भी नहीं सुनते था. आरसीबी बोल दिया. आरसीबी
I'm
सपोर्ट कर
su-
रहे हैं. क्लोज द
I'm
शो.
supporting
आरसीबी सपोर्ट कर रहे
I'm
हैं.
supporting RCB to lose the game because I've got my friends Rima and Veda who are never ever supporting KKR. So that is
Sir,
why I
Veda
can't
is
support RCB.
listening you. I am telling you, Veda is listening you. Sir, be careful.
Veda, well played. Keep it up. Well done.
And listen up, you guys. We are going to catch up tomorrow for the pre-show and discuss more about these two games. फिलहाल के लिए good night, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair. Take care. I will see you all tomorrow.
Thank you. Good
bye,
Good
good
night.
night.
night. Take care.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.